Hey everybody, it's Tuesday afternoon. I just wanted to come to you tonight. Typically, for those students who are in Unveiled Worship School, this would be the night that we would be meeting and having worship and some teaching times and just being together. But obviously, during the quarantine, we're not able to do that. So I just wanted to give an encouraging word. I probably will post this on my Facebook or on Instagram and a few places, but mainly wanted to come to you and just kind of give you my perspective of what's happening and kind of what's going on in my mind anyways with this whole coronavirus. And obviously we all have a lot of time to ponder and pray and just catch up on shows. I don't know if you're binging shows. Actually, me and my daughters are in the middle of a Lord of the Rings marathon. We've watched 2 of them. We're going to finish the other one probably tonight or tomorrow. So anyways, it's just been fun to hang out together as a family. But big picture, what is going on? And what is God up to? What is God really pressed pause for? I mean, obviously, this is not the most ideal circumstance for us to be, in this quarantine with all this time on our hands. And maybe you're kind of like me. I'm not lacking for anything to do. I mean, we've been busy at the road doing a bunch of stuff and, working as much as we can at home. But really, the more that I think about it and the more that I just really seek God, what came to me today was out of the parable of the talents in Matthew chapter 25. I was just reading the story and kind of pondering it. Actually, I was on the elliptical and I was lifting some weights, and I just kept thinking about the talents, and being on pause honestly has really caused me to evaluate my talents. I know that sounds weird, but let me ask you this. What is it that God has given you as a talent? I know that the parable of the talents is this guy, a master comes and he gives 3 people different amounts of money, which by the way is kind of interesting because he doesn't give them all the same for those that think that God is fair. This parable is contradictory to that. God is not fair. He gave 1 5, he gave 1 2, and he gave 1 1, based on their ability, based on what he knew that they could handle. And so as I was thinking about that, I just kept kind of pondering, Lord, what have you given me? And really it's a gift. Let me just kind of identify what gifts could be. You might have a gift of humor. When you walk into a room, you're able to talk to people and make them smile, make them laugh. Do you think that's just, something that, you conjured up on your own? No, God gave you a gift of being able to make people laugh or brighten people's day. Maybe you have a gift of administration. Maybe you have a gift of singing. In the worship school, we're constantly talking about using our gifts and using our ability to worship the Lord and lead people into worship. Maybe it's a gift of writing. Maybe it's a talent of stewarding money. Maybe it's a talent of leadership. You can get people to do different things and different projects. You tend to lead the charge. Let's go. Let's do this thing. Whatever the talent is, there is a tendency, like the one that was given the single talent, especially when we see or we get afraid or we think, oh, I can't do this, or God could never use me to accomplish this great thing, or to cause me to, really affect another person's life in a positive. We all have these thoughts. And then what happens is, over time, is we have these talents, we have these gifts from God that he's given, that he's put inside of us, and before long, we just get busy working. We go to work, we come back. We get a paycheck, we pay our bills, we eat some food, we go on a hike, we go work out at the gym, whatever our regimen is. And somewhere along the line, what I've seen, and one of the reasons that I'm kind of evaluating my talents, is I'm asking the Lord, what have you put inside of me that is a gift from you that maybe I'm not using or stewarding properly. And we know that the end of the story is not a very good ending. Obviously, the guy with the 5 talents goes out, makes 5 more. He is, well done, thou good and faithful servant. The one with 2, same thing. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. But the one who was sitting on his talent, buried it in the ground, got busy just with the run-of-the-mill, mundane, walk through life without using the God-given talent, the God-given gift inside of you. What happened is that the master said, you wicked, lazy servant, you should have been using this gift and this talent that I gave you. It's kind of a sobering thought. And that's really what I've been asking the Lord during this quarantine is, and maybe that's on a larger scale what God is doing. My daughter walked in the other day. She just, kind of bebopping in the room, just not thinking about anything particular. She goes, I feel creative. She's like, I need to do something creative. Maybe your talent is painting. Maybe there's a book inside of you that needs to be written. Maybe there's something, a teaching that God's given. You have a gift to teach. Or maybe you have a gift to minister to people, to talk to people that maybe nobody else feels comfortable. Maybe you see a homeless person on the side of the road and your heart breaks. And absolutely, you almost can't even drive on. You want to pull over and give them something or buy them some food. That is in you for a reason. And when my daughter said, I just feel creative. It's like I have all this time on my hands. All of a sudden I thought, aha, there's a talent there that maybe was dormant, that maybe was buried, that God is wanting to bring up to the surface and begin to just cause you to look at it and say, hey, maybe I need to focus my attention. Maybe I need to explore using these talents that have gone dormant. And whatever that is, I'm going to encourage you during this quarantine and the whole, COVID-19 and the pandemic and all the craziness. And we've already heard all the messages, don't be afraid. And we're starting to see that just even here recently that, we're believing that, it's not going to be as bad as we thought. I'm standing on that. I'm praying that, even though some of the facts and some of the things that, are astounding of what could happen. But I just have this sense inside that even with the facts, even with all of the hype and the grandeur of how the media has just really blown this out of proportion in many ways, I just really believe that the Lord is intervening and he is causing kind of this whole standstill as a nation for us to focus our attention upon him and just really kind of get back to, hey, what was I created for? Let me put it another way. What is my talent? What is my gift? And I need to be using that. And maybe as we press pause, you can go to the Lord and just say, hey, what do you want me to see right now? I was listening to not a podcast, but actually it was a live stream on Facebook. And the guy I was listening to, he actually was talking about some things prophetically that he saw that was happening during this outbreak. And he was talking about acceleration. And then he just kind of made a random statement. And he said, it's like the staff of Moses, of authority. God is going to give you the staff of Moses in the season. And I was like, whoa, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, the staff of Moses, what are you talking about? And all of a sudden, I remembered that when we went to plant our church years ago in San Diego, that we had a prayer meeting and we invited some different intercessors that I was attached to, just in relationship with in the area. I just said, hey, would you guys come pray over us? And one of the guys that was there prayed, and he went to his car and he got this staff out and he handed it to me. And he said, Brian, I feel like that I need to give you this staff of authority. And so this guy prophetically on Facebook was just talking about how that during this season that God is going to give you staffs of authority. He's going to actually put you in the right place at the right time for a specific purpose, to speak over specific situations, to bring deliverance to people. And I actually went out in the garage and I was looking for it and I found it. I was like, here's my staff. Yeah, this is my staff. And then I got to thinking about Moses. And here's the thing. God could have given them a whole different set of circumstances. He could have taken them a completely different way around the Red Sea, or there was other ways for them to get to the promised land. But instead, you know what God did? God took them right up and butted them right up against the Red Sea with no way to go to the left, no way to go to the right. I mean, they were pinned up there. And then all of a sudden, here comes the Egyptians and Pharaoh's army. And I'm thinking, why did God do that? Why didn't God take them the easy way? Why did God, let me put it this way. Why didn't God put them in a situation where, it was clear and concise and it was easy? No, he took them the hard way on purpose. And then he put in the hand of their leader a staff, or let me put it this way, a gift, or you could say a talent. And when all the people started freaking out because of the pandemic, when all the people looked out and they saw Pharaoh's army coming, and right on they were going to be annihilated. Sound familiar? I mean, they were in a bad situation. It was rough. God speaks to Moses and he says this. He said, take the gift, take the talent that I gave you, and I want you to do something really amazing with it. I don't know if it was that way or maybe it was this way. And that's all Moses had to do. Take the gift that he was given. He was in the right place at the right time with the right talent. He stuck it out over the Red Sea. It parted in two and the people crossed over. So let me ask you this question. What talent has God given you that he is wanting to bring to the surface, that he is waiting, maybe even a moment like this, with plagues and viruses and all this stuff, all this talk of, doom, gloom, and despair? What talent has he given you that's inside of you that you already possess, that he's asking you to take up in your hand and stretch out your arm and use it? Not for yourself, but for the sake of somebody around you. That's what I've been thinking about over the last couple days. I just hope that perhaps whatever God has given inside of you and put inside of you, that it would just leap. It would just, think about what was already inside of Mary's belly when she saw, Elizabeth's belly when she saw Mary, the babe. It says leaped in her womb. There was something there, and maybe even as I've been talking, something is leaping in your womb. You're like, yep, that's what I've been putting off. That's what I know I need to be doing. And maybe just because of all the craziness and just the mundane and the ritual and the busyness of life, I put it off. And the Lord is saying, the Master is saying, don't bury that talent. Take it and invest it. Do something with it, and you'll be amazed at what God can do with it. God bless you.